And welcome to the OUYACast Episode 1, recorded on Saturday, February 15th, 2014, your weekly source for the latest news, games, hacks for Ouyans everywhere. I'm Brandon from OUYACentral.tv.
And I'm Steve from OUYABrew.com. Thanks for joining us for our first ever Ouya podcast.
Ouya.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Ouya, which I'm sure that most of you are, that's why you're listening. But just in case you're not, the Ouya is, of course, a little Android gaming console released not quite a year ago, but getting close. And since then has kind of gained a cult following, if you will, trying to go out of the norm of the big three, which of course Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, Microsoft rather. Where it's a console that's trying to bring indie developers more into the spotlight, giving people a chance to create games on their own, bring them to the big screen, instead of having to strike a deal with one of these big major companies and taking years and years to get your game on screen. So that's just kind of the short version of it. But the Ouya is a really great system, really reasonably priced too. You get all that for $99, and we're actually going to go into what it has to offer here in depth.
But wait, you can get an Ouya for $85 on sale. They have a special deal cut like this week. I mean, it's such an awesome deal right now. If you haven't got an Ouya yet and you're really interested in getting one, the $85 one is running. What's the website that is running on right now?
The one that I saw was slickdeals.net, but really, if you Google Ouya $85, you'll see tons and tons of them.
Yeah, we'll maybe try to leave a link in the description below later once this goes public. Yeah, I mean, for $85 and you get a $25 gift card, so you can spend that $25 on some games, so you can get started gaming.
There you go. So now is as good a time as any. I'm not sure when that deal is going to end, so hurry and get it today, because
get it while it's hot.
it's a good deal. It really is. And believe me, the more you tune in to the podcast, and if you go to our websites, which will be OUYACentral.tv and OUYABrew.com, you'll be able to see that it does have a lot more to offer, than just games, and we're going to get into that more as we talk. So, aside from the $85 or $99, whichever time you bought it, what else is going on with the Ouya today?
A couple of weeks ago they announced a new double the storage Ouya, which the original was an 8 gig storage space on it. And the newer version is a 16 gig that has double the storage for twice as many games you can put on it. It's running for $129.99. It comes with a refined controller. I just got one this week and haven't unboxed it yet. I'm ready to try it out and see the difference between the original controller and the new refined controller. It has also improved Wi-Fi, so I'm ready to try that out too. It has a matte black finish. Has the latest firmware update right out of the box. So I mean, you don't have to wait and let it update. It's
looks pretty neat. I know I saw you put a picture, I believe, on Twitter or your website or something.
Yeah, I posted a picture. I said, well, look what I got, and I actually got it a week early, because they told me to take 2 weeks. I ordered it on a Monday, and it came the following Monday. So I was really surprised on how fast I got it, because I was curious because they didn't really give me a time frame. So I went on Twitter and asked them, and they said within 2 weeks, and I got it in 1 week. So let's give them props for that.
Well, that's pretty amazing. And I know a lot of people around the internet they're buzzing that, oh, well, this is the Ouya 2, because as anybody who's been following Ouya since they started, they have told us that every single year they're going to try to update the hardware, do a hardware refresh, because unlike traditional consoles where they can wait 5+ years to do a hardware refresh, mobile gaming changes much more rapidly. So Ouya says, well, we're going to refresh every year, which is a very smart business move, in my
Right.
opinion.
Mhm.
So everybody's thinking, well, this is the new Ouya. This is it. This is the version 2. And it's really not. It's more like version 1.5. And
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
a matter of fact, this is the one you're talking about, the matte black one. They did have, if you recall, a pure white one
Yeah,
for
around
Christmas
Christmas time.
time. Yeah, it was
Right.
a
Yeah.
special Christmas edition. Same thing with the 16 gigs, but it was pure white instead of matte black. I like the matte black better myself, though.
Yeah. Yes. I thought about it when the limited edition one came out, but I was like, nah, I'll wait. And this one came out, I couldn't resist.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be worth the extra storage, I know, because it's going to give you a lot more room to mess around and install more things, of course.
Right.
But speaking of installing things, I know there's a lot of games that I'm going to need to be installing here coming up soon. It looks like there's a lot of developers that are getting their games ready to be released on the Ouya. One of which is I was checking out this new up and coming Kickstarter. It was, I think they moved now to Indiegogo or something, but it's called Distro Horizons versus Galaximo's Army 3D, and that's quite a mouthful.
Right.
So I'll just call it Distro Horizons for short. But it looked like a really cool game, right? Because what this was, it wasn't your basic shoot 'em up, kill zombies kind of game. What it looks like is actually kind of like Mario 64, where you kind of go around the worlds and you collect coins and stars, and it really kind of reminded me a lot of that game, which nowadays you don't see a lot of anymore. I don't know if you noticed that they just don't have those games
I don't know
anymore.
why.
Yeah, neither do
Those,
I, because it was
those,
great.
right, that's those games are what made the Nintendo 64 popular back in the day when we were growing
Yeah.
up.
Well, and it really was a lot of fun. The thing though with Mario 64 that got me is I did everything. I got all the stars, and then I think you ended up getting to the roof or something, and Yoshi's waiting there, and that was their big payoff, was you got to see Yoshi. And it's like, oh, thanks for that. Yeah.
Did all that work for that?
I think that's all or I think he gave you like 100 lives or something, but it was like, I just beat the game. I don't need 100 lives.
Right.
But whatever. Yeah, the point was you worked towards it, and
Right.
it was more just like a fun game that you're working towards. You're collecting stuff. You're going and finding hidden areas where these stars were, and I think that's what they're more aiming towards, is that kind of gameplay, as opposed to the let's shoot your friend in the face kind of thing. So,
Right.
any games coming out that you might be interested in?
Yes, I can't wait for next month. It's coming releasing on Ouya. It's early part of March. It's called Fright Fight. It's a first real time 3D online multiplayer brawler coming first to iOS on February 19th, and then coming early in March to Ouya. It's like a Smash Brothers cross-platform type of game. You could be playing on iOS against somebody on Ouya, which more than likely me and you are gonna be playing on Ouya versus each other. And they, I mean, one thing I give it to them, that they pressed through. They did a Kickstarter campaign, and they weren't funded on it, but I mean they still pressed through, and they're still developing for Ouya, and I give them props for that. That they didn't give up, even though they weren't funded. They just kept on pressing, and they're coming on early March, and I'm gonna be one of the first to download it first. Stay
That's
tuned to
awesome.
OUYACentral.tv.
Well, if it's anything like Smash Brothers, I don't know personally. I've lost quite a few friends playing that game, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play anybody locally. So hopefully they've got internet,
Right.
some kind of internet-based co-op mode or versus mode or
Well, yeah,
bots or something.
yeah, they probably have some bots. More than likely, I mean, they said it's going to be a cross-platform, so you should be able to play with, pretty much anybody online.
That's what I like. I like the cross-platform type games, and Ouya actually carries a few of them. Like open arena and things of that nature.
Right.
But those are really fun games to play. Just because you get that MMO experience,
Right.
and you don't have to pay the big bucks to have it. So that's really really nice.
Yeah, the one benefits of Ouya is they're very cheap to develop for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with things like Unity, 3D, which you can make a fully functional game on, and it's absolutely free to do so. Now, of course, they have upgraded packages and whatnot, but you could definitely do it and not pay a dime and get your game on the Ouya. So there's a lot of cool things out there. Any other games that you've seen coming out that you're excited to play?
Oh, there's another one coming from Juicy Beast Studios. It's called Toto Temple Deluxe. It's an arena-based 2D platformer in which 2 to 4 players can compete in a King of the Hill style contest. Kind of like capture the flag. Who can hold on to the flag the longest? Your players jump and dash around the arena in a quest to hold a
Hmm.
goat, for as long as possible. Now, I don't know what this goat has, but I guess you just want to get that goat and hold on to him and collect coins, and the most coins wins the game.
They're really lonely. They need that goat.
They're very awkward, but can't wait to try it out.
I think I remember seeing the trailer for this. Now, this is, if I recall, this is the trailer that like the guys made, and it has like those four multicolored guys, and they're all like playing the Ouya together, and it kind of reminds me of like those little green one-eyed guys from Despicable Me. I forget what they're called, but
Yeah, they're real funny. and,
yeah,
and I think those like might be the characters that you use in the game because you can dash and when he gets upset, one of them gets upset at the other ones. He dashes and knocks in all three of them. It's kind of funny in the trailer.
yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it's that good old-fashioned multiplayer mode type thing that's really fun to do. I know there's a couple of games on Ouya already like that, such as Bomb Squad, but this game that you're talking about, it kind of almost looks like a cross between Bubble Bobble and almost like Bomberman. It's definitely got this kind of fast-paced looking action feel to it, but it's on that the flat 2D environment, so
Yep, and it's coming.
it's gonna be interesting.
It's coming only on Ouya, early spring. So, or not just coming spring, but yeah, I can't wait to try it out, and hopefully they can, you know,
Make
I don't
something
know.
of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's exclusive right now, coming to Ouya, so it'd be kind of
Well,
cool.
that's a great thing too. Of these exclusive titles. I mean, I love that they've got exclusives, and the Ouya is the only place you can get them because it draws a little bit more attention. Maybe not as much as a AAA title, but you gotta start somewhere. And the games like this are incredibly fun, and a lot of people don't realize what they're missing out on without having the Ouya. So definitely looking forward to that one for sure.
All right, what games have you been playing lately?
Um, I've actually been playing a few games, more than not, because you and I both, run Ouya fan-based websites. Obviously, we play a lot of different games,
All right,
but there's always those couple that you go back to. For me, one of the ones that I've been playing a lot is actually Soul Fjord. That's one of the new ones from Airtight Games.
right,
It's a interesting concept because essentially what it is it's a crossover type game. It crosses Nordic mythology with 70s disco funk, which I don't know how they came up with that, but who am I to say?
I heard that the part of the development one side wanted to do the funk and the other one wanted to do the other thing, and they, I guess, couldn't come to terms with each other. So I guess they said, let's put it both together. Let's put them together.
Well, it works out really good. I mean, these are these are real professionals here. They did a really really good job at this game. Matter of fact, I think they started it well over a year ago is when they announced that they were working on it. And yeah, unlike some people who feel like they've got a deadline to reach and we're going to get it out the door no matter what the quality is.
Right.
They really put the finishing touches on it. They made it look smooth, play smooth, and I'm really impressed with it. So yeah, basically you play this, Afro-wearing
Viking.
Viking, yeah, who's he's been kicked out of Club Valhalla, and that's at the top of this, tree, which has there's a Nordic name for it, but I can't think of it. And so your whole game, you're climbing this tree to get back up to the top where the club is at, so you can fight this big old ice giant guy who kicked you down to the bottom. And it's yeah, it's crazy, but it's fun. I mean, it really is, and I think that's what a lot of these games are. Is they're just a lot of good fun.
And there's random loot, right? When you play, you go around killing the enemies and stuff.
Yeah, there's random loot, and the levels and the loot actually change every time you play. Now, that's the one thing about this game. It is free to play, but what you're gonna want to do is spend at least $2 to $5 and buy these gold records that you can get from their store. And I'll tell you the reason why is because when you die in this game, you actually go back to the beginning and you lose everything. So you have no armor, no weapons. You're back to level one. It doesn't matter what you've gotten before. But with these gold records that you can buy, what you do is you soul bind things to your character, and then when you soul bind them to your character, essentially, if you die, it doesn't matter. These items are still with you. So of course,
Okay.
when you're soul bound a level 10, sword, and you're facing a level 1 monster again, you're going to cut through them pretty quick. So it's going to make sure that you win the game much faster the second time around.
Okay.
Very fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, no.
I tried it out, and I don't have any rhythm in my body, not a bone in my body. I was off beat like crazy.
Well, that's the thing is if you're just a button masher, you can still play the game. But yeah, there you do have to kind of hit to the rhythm.
Yeah, after a while though, you get the hang of it, and it's a very entertaining game.
Absolutely. Well, what are you entertained by lately? What are you playing?
I was trying out about a week ago. I was trying out Into the Shadows, and it has a randomly generated dungeons and weapons, loot, and I went through the first two levels, which are free to try, fairly easy. I'm like one hit kills, and I got to the enemy and one two hits, and he was dead. I'm like, okay, that wasn't challenging at all.
Hmm.
So recently they came up with an update. So I was like, oh, okay, they came up with an update. Let me try it out. Let me download it. And I downloaded it and I tried it out, and I really enjoyed it. I like the loot, and they nerfed the enemy attacks and your attacks against the enemies. It was taking more than one hit to kill them. It was taking more than one hit to kill me. It was very they made it more challenging, and I'm glad that they might have got user feedback from gamers saying, okay, what's going on? I beat the game in 1 minute. The way that it made it so easy to kill the enemy and the boss, and so that's one thing that I like, that they must have heard from the gamers, and I was able to play again, and they made it more challenging, and it gave me a second thought of actually wanting to purchase the game, which is running $3.99 right now. It came out on February 5th. It's a single player game. It's by Dogbot Studios, and man, it's free to try the first two levels, and it was very entertaining game that I'm gonna eventually purchase it and try to beat it.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun. Now, let me ask you a quick question. When you got the update patch, how long did roughly it take you to update?
Oh, not long at all. I
See,
mean,
because me personally, I've got, aside from the Ouya, I haven't quite upgraded to the PS4 yet, but I still have my PS3, which I love too. But I mean, man, it's like when an update comes for a game where they're patching something, it's like you take it the first 2 hours out of your day just to get the patch.
yeah, it's like, especially because I mean, some of those PS3 games are like gigabytes. I mean,
Yeah.
for the Ouya, I mean, what they're not even 100 megabytes. I
Yeah,
mean,
some of them aren't.
so I mean, the update was real quick, and I was able to try it out, as soon as I downloaded it.
Well, that's really cool. That's one thing I really like about them is, these games now. Granted, they don't have the necessarily the top notch graphics that a PlayStation 3 has, but that's because the hardware isn't quite up there. But the thing that it does much better than say the PlayStation or the Xbox is it does give you, like I said earlier, that unique feel. You get that game that you would never see on the Xbox or you'd never see on the PlayStation, and I think that's really cool. I know you were telling me about one earlier before we started the show here. There's something about the popcorn.
Yes, the developer, his name is James Gamble. It's called Space Popcorn. Now that it's a retro style game, but it's very entertaining too. I mean, it, you're in a little spaceship and you shoot popcorn, and the popcorn pops into more popcorn. And you shoot that piece, and it just multiplies and multiplies, and it's very entertaining. There's a there's bombs that randomly generate throughout your gameplay, and you run it over, and it explodes, and it pops all the other popcorn into more pieces of popcorn. Popcorn in space is just floating everywhere. Then there's randomly generated black holes, and once you get on that, and it sucks all the popcorn in, and then you start shooting more popcorn, and it still multiplies. I mean, it's very entertaining. I mean, the graphics aren't like up to par like you said, but I mean, it's very entertaining. It's the guy, he has a website. I believe it's his website. It's called agameaweek.com, and his game is free. I mean, he doesn't charge any app purchases. You battle against a swarm of popcorn.
Well, and that's a good point there because that is another great feature about the Ouya is sometimes developers don't want any money. They just want to say, hey, this is something I made. And some of these developers are so good at what they do that literally that guy, he probably does crank out a game a week, and he's just like, here you go, this is what I made, enjoy. I don't want any money for it. I just want you to see what I made.
Right.
And whereas other games like Soulfjord, for example, they just want to charge as, hey, if you need to, play this game and you want to have a little bit of an extra advantage, go ahead and buy this, and you'll be able to keep your weapons when you die. And other people want you just to pay for the game. So there's a lot of options there, and I think that's really cool that in this particular game, the space popcorn one, it's just kind of funny. I don't know why I think it's so funny, but space popcorn, why not?
I mean,
I think it's pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, it's free. I mean, all the games on Ouya are free to try, and some of them have in-app purchase, like you said, and this game is absolutely free. I mean, if you go to OUYACentral.tv, you can actually push it to your Ouya. So if you're not home right now, you can click on the link. It'll take you to OUYA.tv, and you log in with your username and password, and it'll push the game to your Ouya. When you get home, it'll start downloading it for you, and that's one cool feature that I like that Ouya came out with.
Yeah, I think it's really neat too. So if you can't, let's say that Ouya doesn't have it, a game or something that you want to play, because I know not all games are on the Ouya store yet. Some of them are compatible. Is there a way that you can load them onto your console without having to go through the Ouya store?
Yes, you can sideload apps, games, applications. One application that I like using is called Dropbox, and you can put the Android APK file, which is, I guess, the Android extension where you can install applications onto your Android devices, that's what the Ouya is running, Android. And so you sideload Dropbox, and once you get Dropbox installed and you log in, you'll be able to pull up all your files in your Dropbox folder. So then, say if you have another APK or a game or application, which I tried out. What's my first game that I put on there? Heroes of Umbra. I put that APK because it's not officially on the Ouya store, so it's a game I wanted to try out. It has the Ouya controller support. I mean, so let me try it. So put in my Dropbox folder, log on to my Ouya, open up the Dropbox app, find the APK, click install. It installs it, and I play the game. I mean, it's that simple. And I like Dropboxes as you're able to store your files in the cloud. You can store, your APK files, and say if you're a developer, and it's a good way too that if you make a change, you can reinstall it through Dropbox.
Hmm. Well, that's really interesting. I know that Dropbox I use a lot when we're talking just Windows, of course, but
Right,
it's interesting that it'll load onto the Ouya and let you just kind of use that as an extended folder almost.
right,
So, and that does actually help out a lot, especially if you're really into testing other things that aren't necessarily available directly from Ouya, because this is Android based. That does mean that a lot of Android apps will work on there. Some of them won't work quite as good as others because there's not controller support. But the Ouya does have a touchpad controller, so you can use a mouse almost like you would if you were using a touchscreen, which takes a little bit of getting used to. But if you really want the app, hey, it's there for you.
right,
So it's nice to have something like Dropbox available, so you can just drop it in there. It's transferred over, and you install it, and you're done.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why we created Ouya Central, not Ouya Central, but that's my website, but uh, Ouya related websites that, I mean, because you have Ouya Brew, and so you have hacks that you can hack your Ouya with, and you can, you know, push those APKs to through with Dropbox.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean having a way to work with your Ouya in a way not intended, originally by Ouya, is very important when doing hacks on there. Um, and being able to side load, efficiently is definitely one way uh, to get that, ball rolling. Another way is, I mean, there's lots of hacks. We can go into that forever. I mean, I could spend the next hour talking
Right,
about hacks, but there's a lot of things if you're hacking, especially that you're gonna want to do. Dropbox being one of them, but things like rooting, that's another really important one. And most people, they say, well, I don't like rooting, I don't want to avoid the warranty, and I don't want to do this and that. But Ouya was actually designed, and when they created the console, they said, we want you to hack it, we want you to make
right,
it your own and do whatever you want to it. So rooting the Ouya will not void your warranty, and it's super simple too. As a matter of fact, over at Ouya Brew, I actually have a little post that shows you how to sideload an APK, and you can do it using Dropbox, like you mentioned. And all you do is you install this APK file to your Ouya, and literally it's one click. You just click it. It says you're now rooted. That's it. You're done.
wow, it's that easy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's super easy to do. And one other thing about that, just to make my point here, the image I believe that is on Ouya Brew about the one-click root. I believe, and I might be making a liar myself here, but I believe I took that picture with a program called WebKey, and I installed WebKey because I was able to root my Ouya. So it's kind of it's just a natural progression. It's like I did the root, I'm able to install this program that uses the root, and WebKey is a program that will let me it'll essentially let me remote back into my Ouya from a web browser, and I can take pictures, and it's really good for the site because it'll let me take in-game screenshots and things of that nature. And it's just one small step that was done that just shows you some of the benefits of rooting, and how you can root with things like Dropbox and all that. So
Right. I mean, I remember back in the day when I was first getting into Android cell phones. In order to do stuff like that, you had to be rooted.
hmm
And so, I mean nowadays you can get a expensive game capture and do the same thing, but I like the capability that they want you to root the device and do stuff with it.
oh, definitely. And it'll let you do other things too. I know. you can sideload a ton of stuff. Like if you really want to, you can even install the Google Play Store, which isn't necessarily easy to do at this exact moment, but it can be done. I know there are easier ones that you can install too.
Yeah, there's the Amazon App Store. I mean, there's games on there that have controller support, and you can sideload that the APK for the Amazon App Store, and then
Yeah.
you log into your account. If you already have purchased the game, you can install it. And there's one game on there called what game is it? Recently they said it works with the controller. It's called Doom, Doom and Destiny, or Destiny and Doom. I've been meaning to try it out, and
Hmm.
I mean, there's tons of other apps on there. I know if you wanted to get Netflix on the Ouya, you can get do it through the Amazon App Store. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
there's tons of stuff that you can do with the Ouya. Side loading applications.
Well, Netflix especially. I mean, that's got controller support now too. I think that was with their latest release. So
Okay.
yeah, there's tons of great stuff on there. I know that um, I've downloaded some programs that help me do like custom boot animations, which once again you can find at my website, which is Ouya Brew. But I deal a lot in hacks. I love the hacks. I love seeing what people do with them because it's I've always just been a fan of taking something and doing something else with it that you weren't
Yeah,
supposed to do.
right.
You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
it's one of those really fun things to do. So there's a lot of things, and I think that as we do episode 2, 3, 4, and 5, and whatever of our podcast, I think we can get into
More
those kind of
tips and
things.
tricks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more tips and tricks, and maybe even walk through a couple of them. We'll get some video next time, and
Right.
maybe some screen sharing, and who knows, even some Q&A. We'll get some live people here.
Yep. Well, I guess that's it for this week. You can contact us both on Twitter at Ouya Central TV and at Ouya Brew. We're on there pretty much all the time. If you want to get a hold of us, I mean, you can catch us every week. We're going to try to do this a weekly podcast, keep you guys updated on everything Ouya. And thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, Steve. Catch you on the next episode.
All right. Bye.